have a petition from a paramount ruler from my constituency who feels that his son, staff of Nigeria Drug Law Enforcement Agency, was murdered, and there was deliberate attempt to cover up the murder. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, we sought this hollow chamber to look into this matter and do justice to this. So with your permission, Mr. Speaker, I pray to lay this petition.
Honorable TJ, I didn't even recognize your face until you started speaking. It was your voice that I recognized. Yes, you may lay your petition. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Comrade Chinedoga, representing the good people of Ezasa People Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from St. Luke Solicitor in my constituency over the breach of Memorandum of Understanding by the community and the company that is mining that community, and this have led to the death of 15 people. So I humbly wish to present the petition before the House to look into the crisis to avoid more loss of lives. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, Honorable Chinedu, you may lay your petition. It's also Honorable Oga's birthday. Happy birthday. Any more petitions? Honorable, all petitions are referred to Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable Kolawole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Paul Lawa, representing the Guado South Ipokia constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ogun State. I rise under 8 Rule 4 to plead with you, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, to allow me move a motion of urgent public importance on the need to investigate the alleged illegal secret bank account opened by the Nigerian Port Authority and the Unity Bank to collect revenue from vessels. I also move that you please allow or suspend the rules of the House to allow me move this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any second, Honorable Idem.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafun, Orogonam Federal Constituency in Akwa Ibom State. I rise to second the motion as moved by my colleague. I so second.
You seconded? Honorable Idem. Okay. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, my name is Kolawole Lawal, representing Egbado South Ipokia constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ogun State. This motion of urgent public importance is on the need to investigate the alleged illegal secret bank account opened by the Nigerian Port Authority in Unity Bank to collect revenue from vessels. The House knows that with keen interest, the controversy generated by a whistleblower who claimed that while acting in line with the whistleblower policy of the federal government, he duly informed, in confidence, the Office of the Attorney General of Federation, AGF, about a hidden secret account and operated by the Nigerian Port Authority, Unity Bank, to collect revenue generated from sea vessels. The House also notes that the whistleblower alleged that the information he gave to the Office of the Attorney General of Federation led to the exposure of an illegal secret account in Unity Bank, Lagos branch, reportedly operated by the Nigerian Port Authority, where the sum of $1,034,515,000 was kept contrary to financial regulations and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. The House is aware that the whistleblower also alleged that the information was verified and approved by the Office of the Attorney General of Federation as qualified and of a financial reward as prescribed under the whistleblower policy of the federal government. Subsequently, based on the advice of the Office of the Attorney General of Federation, AGF, a written agreement was executed between the representative of the whistleblower, Maman Mayaki and Co., legal practitioners, and the Office of the Attorney General of Federation, AGF, as evidence of this transaction. The House is also aware that the Nigerian Post Authority, NPA, in response to these allegations, admitted it operates an account with Unity Bank, Lagos branch, account number 0013670344, with a total sum of $1,057,772.03 as of 4th December 2019, but denied the sum of $1,034,515,000.03 as alleged by the whistleblower. It has observed that the Nigerian Post Authority, NPA, further admitted that the bank account mentioned by them, that is 0013670344, had not been operated since 7 August 2010 due to garnishee order NISI given by the Federal High Court, which was subsequently affirmed by the Supreme Court 8 years after in the case of Aminu Ibrahim and Co. versus Nigerian Post Authority, suit number FHC/L/CS/582/2010. The House also observed that the Nigerian Post Authority claimed that upon establishment of the case in the Supreme Court, the judgment creditors continued with garnishee process, which resulted in the payment of the sum of $1 billion plus from the account mentioned by them to the judgment creditor on the 4th December 2019 in line with garnishee order absolute. The House is concerned that the material particulars of the allegations by a whistleblower have been contradicted by the NPA. But since public fund is involved in the matter, it's imperative that the House intervene in the crisis with a view to establishing the true situation in public interest. The House is concerned also that Nigerian Post Authority, NPA, may be operating from other accounts in similar situations. The House wonders if NPA or any federal government MDA has authority to pay any amount of money, public money, to any judgment creditor in satisfaction of a judgment debt without obtaining the prior approval of the Attorney General of the Federation in view of the clear provisions of Section 84 of the Sheriffs and Civil Process Act, Cap 56, Law Federation of Nigeria, 2004, which provides that prior consent of the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, should be obtained before any MDA can transfer public funds to a judgment creditor in satisfaction of a judgment debt. The House also wonders if the Nigerian Post Authority or any federal government MDA has authority to keep revenue generated in any commercial bank in view of clear provision of Section 162 of the 1999 Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria as amended, which provides all revenue produced by government of federation shall be paid into a special account called the Federation Account. The House therefore resolved to mandate the Committees of Finance and Ports and Harbors to investigate these allegations and counter allegations and determine if the Nigerian Post Authority or any other or their personnel committed any infractions with regards to this matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Any second up. Honorable Lumelu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Aniocho Shimili Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Olododo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleague, my name remain Olododo Cook Abdulgali Saka. representing Ilorin East, Ilorin South Federal Constituency. I'm from Kwara State, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, please permit me to present this motion under Rule 8, Rule 4, to present this motion on the matter of urgent public importance, on the urgent need to secure the release and save the soul of Ms. Farida Abdulsamiu and other Nigerians languishing in various detention camps in Libya. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, I also seek for your support to suspend the rules of the House Parliament to hear this bill. A motion. Thank you.
Seconder.
Mr. Speaker, I am Honorable Mohammed Omar Bio. I represent the entire people of Barutina and Kaiba Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I second the motion to suspend our rule for Honorable Abdul Ghani Olodur Cook to take his motion as a second.
Yeah, those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name remains Olododo Cook Abdulgani Saka, represent the group of Ilorin East, Ilorin South Federal Constituency. I'm from Kwara State, State of Harmony. This was the urgent need to secure the release and save the soul of Ms. Farida Abdulsamiu and other Nigerians languishing in various detention camps in Libya. The House should note with concern that thousands of Nigerians, including Farida Abdulsamiu, a member of my constituency, are held captives, detained and languishing in different detention camps across the cities of Libya. The House should be aware that the cell in Farida Abdulsamiu and other Nigerians detainees who have been detained in Kuriyatu Juweya, Misurata, Libya since 2016, but they were later moved to Tripoli, Libya early this year. Just informed, said Farida Abdulsamiu and some other Nigerian detainees in Libya are kept under extremely inhuman conditions, thereby exposing them to various degrees of hazard, which sometimes lead to the death or permanent body injury. Let us recall that in July 2019, it was widely reported that Nigerians held in captivity were among the 40 persons killed by an attack on the Tajora Detention Center in Tripoli, Libya. Worried that these Nigerian detainees, including Ms. Farida Abdulsamiu in Libya, feel dejected and abandoned by the Nigerian government as they are crying for help similar to have been had by the Nigerian government. That's further disturbed that notwithstanding the head of the federal government through the various agencies to release Nigerian detainees in Libya, there are still thousands of Nigerians, including Ms. Farida Abdulsamiu, stranded in various detention camps in Libya. The House should be informed that unless systemic and drastic steps are taken to identify and trace all Nigerian detainees in Libya with a view to securing their release, this Nigeria, including Ms. Farida Abdulsamiu, may be held in captivity forever in Libya. Relieved that through the effort of the International Committee of Red Cross, some of these Nigerian detainees, including Ms. Farida in Libya, are communicating through letters with their families, and this gives hope that one day they'll be reunited with their families. Further relieved that with the combined effort and collaboration of the International Committee of the Red Cross and other relevant agencies of the federal government, all Nigerian detainees, including Ms. Farida Abdulsamiu in Libya, can be identified under various detention camps, traced for the urgent possible release and evacuation from Libya to Nigeria. I have to resolve to all the House to direct the Minister of Foreign Affairs to set in motion the necessary step to identify and trace all Nigerians, including Ms. Farida Absamil, detained or held in captivity in various detention centers in Libya, with a view to securing their immediate release from detention. 2, all the House to direct all government agencies, including the Nigerian Diaspora Commission and National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Person, to collaborate with other governmental and non-governmental agencies, including International Committee of the Red Cross, to trace and secure immediate release of all Nigerian detainees in Libya. 3, mandate the Committee on Foreign Affairs and Committee on Diaspora to ensure compliance and report back to the House within 2 weeks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and honorable colleagues.
Honorable Koko, any second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Shehu Koko. I represent the good people of Koko, Besi, and Moyama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm from Kibisep. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my honorable colleague, Honorable Cook. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Lumelu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Aniocho Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, my issue is on matter of urgent national importance, and I'm coming under Order 8, Rule 4 and 7. Mr. Speaker, somebody recently, an Army Lance Corporal, recently spoke out on issue pertaining to Northeast. And he alleged that he has information as to how Nigerian funds are being wasted in the name of fighting insurgency. Based on his outburst, he was arrested. Then the wife went to beg for the husband to be released. The wife equally was arrested. The wife is not an army officer. She's a citizen who deserves to have her right. So I'm calling on this House to please allow for us to take this matter so that immediately the wife, even who has nothing at stake, can immediately be released, and of course, get the House to investigate this matter. This is the matter that I'm bringing before the House.
Honorable Jerry, please, can you second?
Honorable Speaker, my colleagues, please, Mr. Speaker, please protect me.
From who?
From Elmelu.
From your leader?
Yes. But I will soon join you.
I cannot protect you from your leader.
Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, my name is Jerry Alabos. I'm from Imo State, representing our law, Sanu East Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second that official and minority motion, heavily moved by Abundu Edebere. I have second.
Those in support to say aye. Those against to say nay. The nays have it. You will try it again. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Oshimili Federal Constituency. I'm always proudly from Delta State. The House notes that on 22nd of June, Lance Corporal Martins Idakpein from the 8th Division Sokoto of Nigeria Army made an online video wherein he condemned the lackadaisical attitude of the security chiefs towards the incessant attacks and killings of innocent Nigerians by Boko Haram and other armed groups in the northern part of Nigeria. The House further notes that in the same video, he mentioned that the nation's security chiefs had failed Nigeria in their duty to protect the country and its citizens by not showing any serious commitment towards the fight against these continuous attacks by dissidents, bandits, and criminals in the northern part of the country, thereby putting the whole nation in a state of panic and uncertainties. The House is worried that instead of the security chiefs, after seeing the video, to buckle up and be up to their duties in protecting the country and its populace, the Chief of Army Staff ordered that Lance Corporal Martins be arrested and moved from Sokoto to Abuja for speaking up against the army authorities. The House is concerned that though Section 121 of the Armed Forces Act grants the military the restrictive power to arrest its personnel, but Section 122 sub 6 of the same Act provides that such personnel is entitled to immediate release unless the release will be a threat to national security, and Lance Corporal has not proven to be a threat to any of them. The House is disturbed that though Section 122 of the Armed Forces Act forbids the military from perpetually detaining any officer, Lance Corporal has been held in detention till date, and his wife, who tried to secure his release, has also been detained too. This is an affront to the letters of Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, which guarantees the fundamental human rights of every citizen. The House acknowledged that the military, who are supposed to protect the territorial integrity as well as enforce the laws of our nation, are in a habit of this illegal, wrongful, and unconstitutional detention of soldiers whenever they ask that the right things be done. They have further acknowledged that if by these trends are left unchecked, it may become a serious menace, and that can fan the embers of our nascent democracy for the wrong reason. Hence, the need for urgent intervention and caution to the Nigerian military. They have therefore resolved that the House mandate its Committee on Army to interface with the leadership of the Nigerian Army to urgently release the innocent wife of Lance Corporal Mrs. Idakpein. Secondly, that the House mandate its Committee on Defense and Army to investigate the alleged detention of Lance Corporal Martins Idakpein and his wife. Thirdly, that the Lance Corporal Idakpein should be brought before the committee chairman on army and the leadership, given that this is a security matter, to brief them of the happening in the northern part of the country from information within his knowledge. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Dr. Archibald.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Henry Achibong. I represent the people of Itu, Ibiono Federal Constituency in Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support a matter of urgent public importance as moved by the minority leader of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Toby Okechukwu, and I represent an area of Wojiriba Federal Constituency from Enugu State.
Mr. Speaker, I come under 8 Rules 4 and 5 to seek the relief of this Parliament for the succor of my people who have witnessed very heinous crime and murder of a constituent, and the adverse security consequences will be very, very unfortunate if this Parliament does not intervene to arrest the situation. So I plead with the House to allow me to move it as a matter of urgent public importance and that it be taken today. I so move.
Okay. Honorable Chiloka.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Obinna Chidoka, representing Idemili North, Idemili South Federal Constituency of Anambra State. I rise this morning to second that this motion be considered as urgent and also be taken today, and a relevant rules suspended to allow our leader to take the motion today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. This is a motion of urgent public importance with regard to the gruesome murder of Mr. Eugene Ilobani in Amang Punato community in Ojiriba local government area, Enugu State. The House notes the gruesome murder of Mr. Eugene Ilobani in his farm at Amang Punato Autonomous Community, Ojiriba local government area of Enugu State. The House is saddened that the late Ilobani was reportedly hacked to death on June 29, 2020 by suspected killer herdsmen. The House further notes other recent attacks involving killer herdsmen in Ojiriba axis of Enugu State and killings of farmers, rape and pillaging of communities in various parts of the Federation. The House is aware that the primary responsibility and purpose of government is the welfare and protection of its citizens. The House is concerned that with the worsening state of insecurity, our farmers have abandoned their farms for safety, a situation that will result in food shortage, hunger, and drought. The House is alarmed by a recent report in this day, June 7, 2020, which stated that between 2017 and May 2, 2020, herdsmen carried out 654 attacks, killed 2,539 people, and kidnapped 253 people in Nigeria. The House is convinced that bringing the killers to book will serve as a deterrent to other criminals by the various state governments in the area of security and the overwhelming challenges which the states are burdened with. The House is aware of the tense security situation in our Niri of Ojiriba Federal Constituency, leading to protests since the 29th of May. The House resolves: 1. Call on the federal government and particularly the Inspector General of Police to get rid of armed criminals from Amang Punato community in Ojiriba local government area, Enugu State, and its environs. The House, 2, calls on the federal government to deploy sufficient security personnel in Amang Punato community in Ojiriba and the Enugu State in general to provide a clement environment for our people to pursue their trades. 3, the House calls for investigation, apprehension, and prosecution of perpetrators of this heinous crime. I so move.
Honorable Ataka. You want a second?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Adesegun Abdul Majid Adekoya, representing Ijebu North, Ijebu East, Ogun Waterside Federal Constituency. I'm an Ijebu man from Ogun State.
Honorable Ataka. Yeah.
I rise to second the motion ably moved by my dear colleagues, and I stand to second that motion. Thank you.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Is Honorable Victor Kolade here? Yes. Move your motion very quickly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for yielding the floor to me. I want to move a very important motion, an issue, important urgent motion on the need for, I want to claim the judgment of the House to allow me move a matter of very urgent, important notice for the House. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, call for
What's the matter? Microphone.
A call for the investigation of the financial budgetary provisions, approvals, and multilateral donations on skills acquisition and related programs of the federal government and its agencies that have cost this country billions of naira. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Please repeat that again.
A call for the investigation of the financial budgetary provisions, approvals, and multilateral donations on skills acquisition and related programs of the federal government and its agencies. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second. I guess we'll know the agency in the body of the motion. Can you second, please? We will assume that you seconded because we couldn't hear you. Your mic was on. But because your mouth was moving, we'll assume that you seconded. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable, yes. Please move the motion. Honorable Ogene, move your motion.
Okay, thank you. This one is stable. The House notes that social investment program and skills acquisition program are parts of sustainable tools for the eradication of unemployment amongst our youth all over the country, and also for the enhancement of human capital development and productivity in our country, Nigeria. The House also knows that unemployment and its principal attendant effects, which is poverty, have caused terrible damage on all faces of the nation and cannot be disconnected from insecurity, violence, and other social vices being perpetrated by some Nigerians in their desperation to survive and be self-sufficient. Aware that the federal government and multilateral donors in this effort to get Nigerians engaged in meaningful economic ventures had committed so much funds for the approval and implementation of skills acquisition programs, self-reliant programs, and social investment safety nets in all states of the Federation through many of its agencies, including but not limited to Industrial Training Fund, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency, and the Nigeria Directorate of Employment and Amnesty Department of the Presidency. The House also aware that adequate provision had not been put in place to ensure the effective monitoring and implementation of these programs, as a greater proportion of our youth remain unemployed or unemployable, and hence the increasing rate of poverty level, insecurity, domestic violence, and criminal acts perpetrated daily in the country, and lack of financial transparency and prudency have also hampered the continuous support from multinational donors all over the world. Record that there have been several claims in the past by majority of the beneficiaries of this lottery program that aside the crescent vest and face caps given, have been unjustly denied facility expected to be fully given to them after their training, which is contrary to the terms, conditions for the approval of this program under the various agencies of the federal government. Cognizant that the rationale for the approval and implementation of these skills acquisition and related programs by the federal government will remain a far cry or less achievable without a collaborative effort to query into the financial budgetary provision and value additions by those affected agencies. Observes that the affected beneficiary of this skills acquisition program, formal and informal, will not be able to effectively contribute to the growth of our economy or be self-sufficient and self-reliant, where best facilities are not procured or distributed by these federal government agencies and parastatals. Concerned that the prevalent insecurity and unemployment in the country, apart from occasioning unnecessary loss of lives and property, have also created a worrisome situation for our nation to tap maximally its full potential from all the sectors of the economy, and the trends have negatively impacted significantly on our gross domestic product. Further concerned that the obvious key gap in many of the sectors of our economy has further led to the influx of foreigners with special skills into the corridor of our economy with an attendant capital flight and is discriminate observers of our immigration protocol. Resolves set up an annual committee to investigate the concerned agencies and parastatals in the implementation of these skills acquisition-related programs in line with the spirit of this motion. Cost report to be laid before the House in 16 weeks. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Any secondary?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My very revered colleague, Kolade V. Akinjo is my name. Elijah said the Federal Constituency of Ondo State. I rise to second this very auspicious motion as moved by my able colleague, Honorable Ngene. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Ngene, just 2 minutes on this motion. Just give us put some flesh on it.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. The name once more is Honorable Ogede Ego. I represent the good people of Amuodofi Federal Constituency, Lagos. Mr. Speaker, as you know, I'm a Lagosian. Yes. This motion becomes very important because of the huge amount of money that the federal government and various international agencies have been pouring into the country for various skills acquisition programs to train our youth to ensure that they have the skills to get jobs, to reduce unemployment, and to reduce insecurity, killings, and a lot of anomalies happening all over the country. Unfortunately, these billions that have been poured into this training, we are not seeing it. And international agencies are becoming worried that the monies they are putting into various agencies to help youth in the country are not being well used. And as you know, Mr. Speaker, when the youth are fully engaged, they are well trained, and they are well employed, it will remove insecurity. People finish from universities who need skills can acquire skills and become self-employed. Those who finish from secondary school can also become self-employed, both male and female. That way, the problem of unemployment will be reduced to a minimum, and their youth can support themselves instead of continuously relying on their parents. And at the end of the day, out of frustration, these youths will now take up arms, they join various gangs, and then be of harm to the country. So this motion is coming in a way for us to investigate what this money will be used for, to give various donors the confidence that when they donate money, the money will be used for the right purpose. And to also ensure that if there are problems with the training that is being given, the National Assembly can intervene to ensure that the right thing is done, so that our youth can be employed, so that they can be well trained for the interests of the entire country. This is the purpose of the motion, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Very good motion. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The last motion, honourable members, you can see that we've been here for over an hour. We are not even on the order paper yet. I keep appealing, motions of urgent public importance, we are not complying with our rules. We are supposed to take 2. This is going to be like number 6 or number 7. And we are not even on the order paper yet. So when we begin to put our foot down and comply with the 2-a-day rule, please go to your rules to understand why we're doing that. The last one will be Honorable Isaka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Ibrahim Ayafoni Isaka. I present the very good people for even for federal constituency. I'm from Ogun State, Mr. Speaker, and I want to state that the rule of the House have been suspended to take more than 2 motions. Motion of urgent public importance. The premise on this, I want to realize to move a motion for a call on assessment and investigation to confirm the status of all recovered loots, movable and immovable assets, tangible and intangible, from year 2002 to 2020 by agencies of the government of Nigeria for effective stroke efficient management and utilization. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Doctor, you want a second? Yes.
I remain Honorable Dr. Haruna Muselia. I represent all the good people of Aston Baham constituency of the State. I stand, Mr. Speaker, to second the motion heavily moved by Honorable Isiaka. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Isaka.
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Speaker. The House notes that Nigeria has, in the last 21 years, recovered about 14.6 billion US dollars, allegedly looted or through movable and immovable assets recovered from the nation's common patrimony. And both all these are either stashed abroad, they are of the countries where many of these liquid and solid funds were kept include are not limited to Switzerland, Jersey, Ireland, United Kingdom, United States of America, France, and others. The House is fully aware that some of these assets have conditional transfer attached to them by host countries and implications for them, and return same to the country have specifically indicated, thought out the way they should be managed. The House is also conscious of the need for compliance and procurement to provide additional monitoring and oversight. The attachment of the conditions was blamed on the poor accountability and high level that previous repatriated funds were said to have not been judiciously utilized. The undue interference by these foreign countries negates international law and principles of accountability, sovereignty, equality, fairness, and non-interference. The Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, the Nigerian Transparency International Chapter, and other NGOs in Nigeria have at different fora expressed some concern about the lack of parliamentary and public approval of the distribution of the scheme on the recovered assets. The House believes that thousands of seized vehicles, cash on transit, at ports, departures, and other items estimated to cost about 500 billion naira are currently wasting away at various warehouses of the Nigerian Custom nationwide, the Office of ICPC, the EFCC, and among all other government agencies who have recovered among those items, both in cash and in items, including even computers, photocopiers, stationery, and all assorted kind of cars. The House is just simply worried because these are assets and goods that various ministries and departments and agencies of the government could have been put to use instead of still appropriating sale every year in the budget, especially those that have been permanently forfeited. The House is also aware that the federal government has in its record the list of more than 1,000 units of completed and uncompleted buildings recovered across the nation, and it is expected that the government will have put to use, while many of government agencies, ministries, and departments are still in the rented, hired apartments. Many of these permanently forfeited assets will have been used by various ministry agencies of the government instead of allocating so much money to pay for rental services or residential and office buildings. The House notes further that Nigeria will be saving a lot of money on budgetary provision if all these forfeited items in cash, buildings, vehicles can be converted and used by various agencies of the government. The House now resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to ascertain the total consolidated value of financial instruments in cash, movable and immovable, assets recovered and permanently seized from year 2002 to date. 2, to determine the level of management, withdrawal, and allocation of repatriated funds, allocation of assets, movable and immovable, seized by agencies of government. 3, recommend appropriate process and procedure to the House for an institutional legislative framework that will monitor the recovery and utilization of recovered assets and report back to the House within 9 weeks. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Any seconder?
represent Ibadan Southeast, Ibadan Northeast Federal Constituency. I rise to second the evidence motion moved by our colleague Honorable Isiaka. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Isiaka, please pass your written motion to the principal officers. Let them have a look at it. You can give it to the DS, the House Leader, Minority Leader. Let them just have a quick look at it. So we move on to members. The first business of the day is presentation of 52 bills. And I invite the clerk to read the short titles.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members. With the Code of the Rule and Tribunal Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal Road Safety Commission Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Arbitration Bill 2020, first reading. Matrimonial Causes Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Port Operation, Removal of the Word, Force, Bill 2020, first reading. The Certification, Erosion, Flood and Ecological Control Agency Bill 2020, first reading. Nigerian Medical Industry Bill 2020, first reading. Public Service Institute of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. National Boundary Commission Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Pension Reform Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Arbitration, Right to Trial Bill 2020, first reading. National Innovation Agency Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal Industry of Solid Minerals Lemo Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Private Person Criminal Prosecution Authorization Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Constitutional Conference Bill 2020, first reading. Many of Public Infrastructure Bill 2020, first reading. Social Security Bill 2020, first reading. College of Agriculture, Mokwa, Niger State, Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. National Education Trust Fund Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal Capital Territory Orphanage Regulatory Agency Bill 2020, first reading.
Honorable Prestige.
Vocational Studies Compulsory Inclusion in School Syllabus Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Arbitration Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Arbitration Bill 2020, first reading. Federal Medical Center was Establishment, etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Orthopedic Hospital Management Board Act, Just Plateau State Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Southeast Development Commission Amendment Bill, etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Nigerian Waste Authority Bill 2020, first reading. Nigerian Postal Commission Bill 2020, first reading. Federal Capital Territory Transport Authority Assignment Bill, etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Chartered Institute of Training and Development Bill 2020, first reading. National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment Establishment, etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Federal College of Fisheries and Agriculture, TELA, Establishment, etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Maritime Security Operations Corporation Board Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal College of Education, Mongono, Establishment, etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Fisheries Institute of Nigeria, Establishment, etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Chartered Institute of Tourism Professionals of Nigeria, Establishment, etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Legislative Houses, Powers
and Privileges Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Amendment Act Amendment Act Alteration Bill 2020, first reading. National Center for Women Development Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Pension Reform Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Other other tax VAT Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal Inland Revenue Service Amendment Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. National Agency for Technology Incubation Establishment Etc. Bill 2020, first reading. National Council for Psychologists Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. National Social Investment Trust Fund Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Nigeria Infrastructure Development Bank Establishment Etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Microcredit Intervention Tax Fund Bill 2020, first reading. Nigeria Defense Academy Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal College of Aviation Technology Uyo Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Act Operation Name of Nigeria Bill 2020, first reading.
The second business of the day is presentation of 5 reports of the Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable Jerry Alabaso is invited to present the reports.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, my colleagues. I rise to present some reports which are accumulated as a result of lockdown. About 5 of them, Mr. Speaker. And this side of another order of reporters. My name is Jerry Alamos. I'm from Imo State, representing our law, also another Israel constituency. Mr. Speaker, once more I rise to present 5 reports on various petitions which are the result accumulated because of the COVID lockdown. One is the report on the petition by Greater Bar Community Development Initiative on Chinese construction company in Ikatabas, Akwa Ibom State. 2 is another report on the petition against the Vice Chancellor of the University of Port Harcourt for refusal to mobilize about 1,227 prospective graduates for National Youth Service Corps for late payment of their final year fees. 3 is another report by Golden Hills Academy for internet scam to the tune of 10 million naira by one Mr. Suleiman Yakubu of Lento at the Happy World main gate. 4 is a report on the petition by Yetunja Abayabi, President on behalf of the Joint Committee of the Association of ceding my 6th road, Abeokuta of the state, against the management of federal government in the
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Civil Engineering Consortium.
Yes, point of order.
Order 9, Rule 4, subsection 8, 9, and 10.
One page.
You can find the definition, Mr. Speaker, now.
One page, please.
Subsection 8 says,
What page is the order?
page 43. When a member is speaking, no member may converse aloud or make any noise or disturbance to interrupt him. Subsection 9. During a sitting, all members shall be silent or shall confer only in undertones
Toby, what do you think? Because I'm confused as to our point of order.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, but I get it from it. Mr. Speaker, the point of orders are not referral matters. It is within the discretion of the Speaker to check whether it's out of order or in order.
No, I have the capacity to, when I'm confused as to a point of order, and because I know you are very, very conversant with our rules, you are one of the most experienced legislators here, I want to know what you think. Because I disagree with her, so I want your own opinion before I make my ruling.
Well, Mr. Speaker, if you want expert advice, I think...
Shaba, well done. I saw you.
She is right, and that makes particular reference to judiciously to observe the rules of the House. It also makes reference to the leader of the House, that they should sit properly. So, Mr. Speaker, your point in order. She's right.
Down here, many people are approaching you, and I have not seen you call them. So please, members should obey these rules. Thank you.
I think the deputy whip was specifically right, referring to Honorable Faleke and Honorable Toby. I think that's who she was specifically referring to. Honorable Darlington, you're welcome. Point of order sustained. Where were we? Jerry?
May I continue, Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy Whip.
Mr. Speaker, let me inform you that this COVID, they said harasses from 55 and 60 above, and you are waiting 58 years. What the whip I just said that made me to lose my concentration, and it's leading to loss of memory because of my age.
How old are you?
So let me continue.
How old are you? Since you brought your age into issue.
Mr. Speaker, I'm older than you.
I didn't ask you if you were older than me. I said, how old are you?
Mr. Speaker, I don't want to release my age here because of this so they don't take it to Malawi. Mr. Speaker, the fourth report before the point of order by my dear sister is a report on the petition by Oyetunji Ayobemi, testing on behalf of the Joint Community Development Association, my sixth, Road Abeokuta, Ogun State, against China Civil Engineering Construction Company. The fifth report is on the petition on the removal of Manifest Divisional Police Station, Warri Southwest local government area, from the jurisdiction of Warri Area Command, and appeal for reversal by the National Association of Security Graduates by the Nigeria Police. Mr. Speaker, I so present.
Yes. Any seconder? Honorable Ben.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Benjamin Okezie Carlo. I represent the good people of Nigeria, starting from Bende Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm from Abia State, and a member of a committee that just presented their report. I rise to second. the report as presented by the chairman of the Committee on Public Petition. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Lagwaso, you may lay your report. First order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Currency Conversion Freezing Orders Act, Cap C43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to give discretionary powers to the judge of the High Court to order forfeiture of assets of affected persons, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Ahmed Idris. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read for the first time on Tuesday, 25th February 2020, and I invite Honorable Idris to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Your Excellency, my respected Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the bill for an act to amend the Currency Conversion Freezing Orders Act Cap C43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to give discretionary powers to the judge of the High Court to order for future of assets of affected persons and for related matters related to content. I so move.
Honorable Eden.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafun, Orowonam Federal Constituency in Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Deputy Speaker. I so second.
Deputy Speaker, you may lead the debate. Yes.
Your Excellency, distinguished colleagues, this is a very, very straightforward amendment that I'm seeking the House to approve. This is to allow a federal high court sitting anywhere to adjudicate on any matter of the future of assets. In the past, what used to be, the president has executive power and by fiat to declare such actions. This, I would want to say, will be tantamount to allowing, if you have a president that is too much politically inclined to use his powers or to abuse an abuse of power. By the time we have this, that until you go through the judicial process before you can have anybody's asset taken over, I think it will give us more leverage and more encompassing democratic opportunities. Your Excellency, distinguished colleagues, it is just a one-line amendment to remove the power from the president and allow the constitution to come in. I want to believe that with this explanation, members will allow this bill to be read second time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dears. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Bill referred to the Committee on Justice. Clerk, please, read the long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Currency Conversion Freezing Orders Act, Chapter C43, Laws of the Federation of the year 2004, to give discretionary power to the judge of the High Court, order for future of assets of affected persons and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Justice. Second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the National Health Act, number 8 of 2014, to define basic minimum package of health services, provide more mechanism for realizing the objectives of the Principal Act in providing free health care services to all Nigerians without prejudice to the requirement of payment of the contributory schemes stipulated in the National Health Insurance Scheme Act, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Mohammed Shamsuddin Bello. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 12th February 2020. I now invite Honorable Bello to move that the bill be read a second time. Honorable Bello.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Honorable Shamsuddin is not on the floor. I move that the bill be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Bill step down. Third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish Akanu Ibam Federal University of Technology, Uwana, to provide training, teaching, and instruction in every aspect of education and for such fields of applied learning relevant to the needs of the development of education in Nigeria, matters of administration and discipline of students, and for related matters standing in the name of Honorable Gadiwe Iduma Eno. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 25th February 2020, and I invite Honorable Eno to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my very respected colleagues. My name is Igariwe Iduma Enwo. I represent Afipo North, Afipo South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, with respect, I move that a bill for an act to establish Akanibiam Federal University of Technology, Uwana, to provide training, teaching, and instructions in every aspect of education and such other fields of applied learning relevant to the needs of the development of education in Nigeria, matters of administration and discipline of students, be read a second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Toby Okechukwu, and I represent an area of Wojiriba Federal Constituency from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, I move to second the motion for the bill as moved by Honorable Gariwe. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for now to establish Akanu Ibiam Federal University of Technology, Uwana, to provide training, teaching, and instructions in every aspect of education and such other fields of applied learning relevant to the needs of development of education in Nigeria, matters of administration and discipline of students, and for later matters. Second reading.
Okay, bill referred to tertiary and service, education and service. Fourth order of the day is motion on discharge of committees on referrals on bills pursuant to order 17, Rule 3G of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, standing in the name of Honorable Abubakar Hassan Fulata. Honorable Fulata is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Krikasama, Gudi Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, from Jigawa State. Discharge of committee on referrals on bills pursuant to Order 17, Rule 3G of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives. House notes that the following bills were read a second time separately and referred to various committees of the House for legislative action, namely, Federal Capital Territory Abuja Area Codes Bill 2019 HB 67, dated 11th of March 2020, referred to Committee on Federal Capital Territory Judiciary. Number 2, Plant Variety Production PBV Bill 2019, read second time on the 10th of October 2019, and referred to Committee on Agriculture Production and Services. 3, Federal College of Agriculture, Akrika-Sama Establishment Bill 2019, HB 382, read second time on the 4th of December 2019, and referred to Committee on Tertiary Education and Services, and Federal College of Education, Berniwa Establishment Bill 2019, HB 383, read second time on the 10th of of December 2019 and referred to Committee on Tertiary Education and Services. Aware that the committees are yet to present reports on the bills, contrary to the provision of the orders of Order 17 with 3G of the Standing Order of the House of Representatives. To it, any matter referred to any committee shall be treated within 30 days. Otherwise, the committee shall stand discharged after 60 days and the matter committed to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. Resolves to discharge the committees above mentioned from the bills referred to them and commit same to the Committee of the Whole. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second that. Honorable Sada, can you second, please? Oh, okay. Honorable Sada is not on seat. No, Sada Soli. He's not on seat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the expression of your fraternity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion ably moved by the Chairman, Rules and Business. I so second.
Thank you, Honorable Sada Soli. Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Fifth order of the day is motion on need for urgent intervention in the rehabilitation and reconstruction of collapsed bridges along Vasir Langtang Road in Plateau State. Standing in the name of Honorable Ahmed Idris. Honorable Idris is invited to move the motion.
Your Excellency, my respected Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I like to move that the House know that on 25th of June 2020, Ghana Audu, Kojin Kasa Bridge, connecting the bridges of Wasi Langtan Road in Plateau State collapsed, thereby disconnecting linkages between the two towns. Also note that in addition to the above, there is another bridge along the same stretch of the road, Malmo Bridge. This is currently about collapsing due to the prolonged deterioration. Aware that Bashar Wasi Langtan Road as a project have recently assumed high economic status as it connects high-yield economic nerve centers in Plateau State, with which mining deposit located within the vicinity and recent federal government oil exploration activities in Wasi Plateau State. Also aware that above road, other than being linked to viable economic centers, also connects several communities in bordering states such as Plateau, Bauchi, Gombe, and Taraba. Cognizant that the bridges which were constructed decades ago have not received necessary maintenance and rehabilitation for many years, worried that the collapse of the bridges and the continuous deterioration of Wasi Langtan Road has adversely affected the lives and livelihoods of several communities connected by the bridges. Concerned that if urgent action is not taken to eliminate the sufferings of those affected by the collapse of the bridges by providing temporary alternative routes and relief materials, they will further face with pains. Resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency to carry out emergency maintenance on Wasi Langtan Road, reconstruct the collapsed bridges and rehabilitate the dilapidated ones. Also urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to expedite action on the construction of the mentioned roads captured in 2020 Appropriation Act, which are directly linked to Wasi Langtan Road due to their strategic linkages with the viable economic, mining, and oil exploration centers. One, Bashar Wasi Langtan Road, Wamba in Plateau State and Nasarawa State. Two, rehabilitation of Tumu, Tindiga, Kashere, Gombe, Putuk, Yalo, Bauchi State, and Bashar Wasi Langtan Plateau State with Wamba in Nasarawa State. Again, urge the Nigerian Army Disaster Response Unit to undertake emergency construction of an installation of Bailey Bridge to facilitate the movement of persons caught across by the collapsed bridge in our Jigan Audu and Kojin Kasa Bridge along Wasi Langtan Road. Further urge the National Emergency Management Agency to provide necessary relief materials for the affected communities displaced by the collapsed bridge. Mandate the Committee on Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, Works, Army, and Disaster Management, and the civil compliance to monitor the implementation of the resolution and report to the House within 4 weeks. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, any seconder, please? Honorable Deal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Mohamed Ali Udil. I'm from Kano State, and I represent the people of Udil Garko Federal Constituency. The Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved by the Deputy Speaker of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Udil. It's an infrastructure motion, so I'll just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, we might not be able to cover the whole entire order paper for today because of the precautions we have to take about being in an enclosed space for a lengthy period of time. But we'll try and do as much as we can. Also, we will be having and we still have a committee of the whole as well. Before we adjourn for today, we'll have a very short executive session towards the end, just before adjournment. So I encourage members to please stay behind. So we'll move to the sixth order of the day. This is a motion on need to rescue the people of Ayetoro in Ilaje local government area, Ondo State, from floods arising from the Atlantic Ocean surge, standing in the name of Honorable Kolade Victor Akijo. Honorable Akijo is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Very revered colleague, Kolade V. Akinjo is my name, largest of the FRAC constituency. I rise to move a motion on the need to rescue the people of Ayetoro in Elijah local government area of Ondo State from floods from the Atlantic Ocean surge. The House notes that as at 17 March 2020, Ayetoro, an oil-producing community occupying Atlantic coastline of Elijah local government area of Ondo State, was completely overrun by tempestuous oceanic surge with massive destructions and fortunes washed away into the Atlantic.
Honorable Lado, let's try and find time to see.
Thank you. Also note that the raging sea surge that is now on the verge of destroying the entire community can be attributed entirely to the oil exploration and exploitation activities and opening up of canals to the Atlantic Ocean by the oil companies. Worried of the global warming, climate change, and most importantly, failure on the part of the government to provide shoreline protections or embankment to protect the community from the advancing sea surge leading to destruction of many houses, resultantly rendering almost all the inhabitants of the area homeless, destroyed public facilities, and paralyzed socio-economic activities of the people. Aware that Ayetoro, apart from contributing its quota to the national economy through oil production, is of great historical and tourism importance to the nation as the first community to successfully practice what I refer to as quasi-communism in Nigeria. Recall that sometimes in 2004, persistent cry for rescue by the ecologically devastated people of the oil-rich community caught the attention of the federal government, and therefore shoreline protection contracts to build sea defense was awarded to Garlet Nigeria Limited by the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, for about 2,400,000 naira, I mean 2.4 billion naira, with initial mobilization fee of 650 million naira paid for agreed completion period of about 18 months with no job done. Observe that following the termination of the contract with Garlet,
after about 4 years of obvious failure of non-performance, in 2009, NDDC re-awarded him to Dredging Atlantic Limited, Dow, at a cost of about 6.5 billion, with payment of mobilization ranging of about 2.5 billion naira, with 40% of the total contract sum released and no job done. Also worried that despite the said financial commitment by the federal government to the shoreline protection contract for the community, the job mileage still remains a zero performance level, almost 2 decades after the initial award. Concerned that all schools, including primary, secondary, and technical schools, have also been submerged, thereby making learning under these circumstances practically impossible. And also concerned that apart from the resultant socio-economic paralysis of the farming and the fishing activities of the people, the situation now also poses serious security, health, and existential threats to the extent that the affected people or the community are being forced to take refuge on jetties, boats, and other surviving avenues. Disturbed that if urgent and proactive measures are not taken to address the ocean surge, the entire community, with a rich historical antecedent, may soon go into extinction. And what can the House there do? Resolve, 1, to urge the Ministry of the Niger Delta Affairs, National Emergency Agency, NEMA, NDDC, Ecological Fund Office, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and Ministry of Environment to immediately intervene on the plight of our Yetoro community by providing relief materials and temporary abode to the victims of this very devastating ocean surge. 2, urge the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Ecological Fund Office, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and Ministry of Environment to provide permanent solution to the devastating effect of this ocean surge by way of shoreline protection. Invite Niger Delta Development Commission, Garlet Nigerian Limited, and Dredging Atlantic Limited, DAL, to appear before the Committee on NDDC to explain the situation surrounding the abandonment of the shoreline protection contract, and also further urge the federal government through its relevant agencies to revisit the abandoned shoreline protection contract and reward same to a company with proven capacity in the interest of my people. And also call on the federal government as a matter of urgency to install early warning signal technology so as to protect all coastline communities in Nigeria from threat of Atlantic Ocean. I so move, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, honorable colleagues.
Any seconder? Honorable Ado.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. Lado Suleja is my name, and I'm representing Suleja Gurara Tapa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the Power State, Niger. I stand to support and also to second the motion as moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
I think this is a disaster motion, so we'll put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. We don't need to address the incidence of mortality from cancer in Nigeria, standing in the name of Honorable Samuel Adejare. Honorable Adejare is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I still remain Honorable Dr. Samuel Babatunde Adejare. I represent the wonderful people of Agege Federal Constituency of Lagos State. I beg to move the need to address the incidence of mortality from cancer in Nigeria. The House notes that the World Cancer Day is marked on the 4th February every year to remind the world of the scourge of cancer around the globe
and to stimulate stakeholders to create awareness and step up activities towards stemming the burden and mortality of cancer. Also notes that there are over 800,000 new cases in Africa, 1/3 of which are Nigerians, and 86% of them may die within the first year of diagnosis of the disease, 35% of which is caused by preventable infectious diseases and conditions. Also acknowledges that by the World Health Organization standards, Nigeria needs 180 radiotherapy machines for the over 180 million people. Yet there are only 8 functional machines available in Nigeria for both treatment and palliation. Cognizance that Nigeria has only 5% of the required specialized personnel for cancer care, which includes pathologists, radiotherapists, oncologists, gynecologists, and oncologist nurses, which is inadequate to care for the nation. Concerned that going by the current trend, cancer is fast becoming a national epidemic and a serious health emergency with dire consequences if no urgent and effective intervention is instituted. The House resolves to 1. Urge the Federal Ministry of Health to commission a national survey to generate reliable data on prevalence of the several cancers plaguing the Nigerian people, availability of laboratory diagnostic facilities such as immunohistochemistry and molecular pathology technique, radiodiagnostics, including nuclear medicine facilities, to enable more exact and reliable diagnosis and treatment of cancer, available personnel, and gaps. 2, support the training institutions such as the postgraduate medical colleges, post-basic schools of nursing, and medical research institutions to produce more specialists for cancer diagnosis and treatment. 3, facilitate the establishment of standalone standard comprehensive cancer centers in each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. 4, also urge the Federal Minister of Health to partner with the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, and other relevant stakeholders and development partners to harness a multi-sectoral effort to improve cancer care in Nigeria. 5, mandate the committees on healthcare services and health institutions to ensure implementation. I so move. Thank you.
Seconder, please. Go on, yeah, please, go ahead. What's his name?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Honorable Dennis Sidahosa. I represent the good people of Oviafera constituency. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Okay, I think it's very straightforward. I'll just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The 8th order of the day is motion on need to make. Honorable Abianti, are you here? Can you very quickly see the Deputy Speaker, please? Please see the Deputy Speaker. If need be, we'll come back to your motion, but let's quickly see the Deputy Speaker. We'll move on to the 9th order of the day is a motion calling on the federal government to enforce nationwide compliance with its directive on reduced petroleum pump price of 123.50 per liter. Signed name of Honorable Idem. Honorable Idem is invited to. It's been overtaken and it's not even here. Point of order. The matter is not going on. Yes, it's functors officials, yes. Overtaking my event.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Idem is not on the floor. I move that the motion be stepped down by the leader of the House.
Motion step down. The 10th order of the day is a motion on need to complete the construction of the Federal Health Center at Okpeze and Enugu Umoya communities in Orumba North and South local governments in Anambra State. Standing in the name of Honorable Okudili, Honorable Ezewanko is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Okudili Christopher Ezewanko. I represent the good people of Orumba North, Orumba South, Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Anambra State, the light of the nation. Mr. Speaker, my motion is need to complete the construction of federal health centers at Okpeze and Enugu Monya communities in Orumba North and South local government areas of Anambra State. The House knows that federal government awarded contracts for the construction and the equipment of federal health centers, both at Okpeze and Enugu Monya communities of Orumba North and South local government area of Anambra State. The House knows that the contractors abandoned the Okpeze building construction project at Kakas level, completed the Enugu Monya building, but left it unequipped and unusable. The House are aware that those projects have been abandoned for a decade, with the buildings serving as hideout for hoodlums. The House concerned that the rationale for citing those health centers at the remote communities of Okpeze and Enugu Monya was to give these communities access to quality health facilities, especially during the rainy seasons due to the nature of their topography. Worried that many occasions, 6 people from those communities break down and pregnant women deliver on their way to access health services from these communities. Concerned that if those projects are not completed, the effort of the federal government to provide healthcare services for those communities will be in vain, and the people will continue to suffer in accessing healthcare services. Resolved to mandate the committees on health institutions, healthcare services, and rural development to investigate the matter and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. I so move.
A seconder, please. Okay. Honorable Olabi. Thank you, Honorable Olabi. It's an infrastructure motion. Let me put the question straight away. Honorable colleagues, those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. 11th order of the day is a motion on need to establish the fruit juice processing factory in Plenary State. Standing in the name of Honorable Richard Bande. Honorable Bande is invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Bande is not on the floor. I move that the motion be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move.
Motion step down. 12th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to repeal the Arbitration and Conciliation Act Cap A18, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Arbitration and Mediation Bill to provide a unified legal framework for the fair and efficient settlement of commercial disputes by arbitration and mediation make applicable the Convention on the Recognition and Enforcement of Foreign Arbitral Awards, New York Convention, to any award made in Nigeria or in contracting state arising out of international commercial arbitration, the Convention on the International Settlement Agreements resulting from mediation, the Singapore Convention, and for related matters, honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 18 December 2019. Honorable Mungunu will move for its consideration.
Floor. The bill, the consideration of the bill being stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move.
You step down. The 13th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Institute of Environmental Practitioners of Nigeria and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 8 October 2019. Honorable Makwe Levidos will move for its consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Makwe Livinus Makwe. I represent the good people of Ohozra on the Chaiwo Federal Constituency and from Ebonyi State. I rise to move that the bill for the establishment of Environmental Institute Practitioners of Nigeria be committed to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we are all aware of the environmental degradation that is all over the country and how environment and its protection. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder, please. Second. Honorable Dederick. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Chairman Business, you have a motion? Are we going to Committee of the Whole, or are we stepping down the rest of the...
Right, okay. So, Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Saflata. I represent Berniwa Kirikasama Gudi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do step down to the consideration of items number 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 are in the order paper. I so move.
It's items from number 14, not 9. Um, you want a second? Yes, Honorable Melu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndodigo Dinelmel, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the House Committee Chairman on Rules and Business that all the remaining matter be stood down. I so second.
Matters step down. All matters step down. Honorable colleagues, let me very quickly announce the names of the ad hoc committee members on the two motions that came up. On the motion moved by Honorable Ogene on skills acquisition, we have as chairman Honorable Victor Akijo, Honorable Abdullahi Hassan, Honorable Abdul Yakin Sadaku, Honorable Nazif Sani Gumel, Honorable Kakani Bala, Honorable Isa Ibrahim, Honorable Priye, Honorable Osai Nicholas, Honorable Chinedu Emeka, Honorable Edun, Honorable Kingsley Uju, Honorable Mansour Soro, and Honorable Wumi from Mondo State. On the motion moved by Honorable Isiaka on the recovered assets, Chairman will be Honorable Adeogun. And we have Honorable Wudil, Honorable Lawan Kenken, Honorable Sada Soli, Honorable Obani Koro, Honorable Aliu Dati Yako, Honorable Yo Andona, Prince Obi Okechukwu, Honorable Darlington, Honorable Judy Dam, Honorable Jaha, Honorable Prestige, Honorable Dele Goluga, Honorable Ben Kalu, Honorable Idu Igariwe, Honorable Compson Lankab, Honorable I'm not sure who this is. Yes.
Kasim. Kasim, okay, who's the name? Kasim from Magawa.
Okay. Lado, you gave name?
No. No, Mr. Speaker.
I just heard that you gave the name. Come. I don't know. You are now in leadership?
No. You consulted me. You consulted.
Okay. Honorable Kashim is the last name. No wonder I couldn't read it. It was rigged. I couldn't read it. So Honorable Kashim is the last name. Okay. Okay. So, so we'll move very quickly, leader, to very quick, short executive session before we adjourn.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Ado Dogwa is my name. Honorable members, I rise to move that this House will move into an executive session, a very quick and short one. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Comrade Peter Ohiozujia Singh. I second the motion that this House resolve to executive session. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
House reverse to executive session, please. Can we clear the gallery and everywhere? Honorable Koko, you didn't hear your name? You were on that ad hoc committee. You didn't hear your name? Okay. But it's there. I announced your name.